Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Touching Eternity, the podcast.
Good evening.
Yes.
We're here. We're both back and live tonight.
Yes, I am your host, Sid Patrick, and my lovely co-host, Miss Alicia Nicole. What a new hairdo.
My new hair.
I love her new hair. I see it. It looks so good on you. So tonight we're going to talk about duality, but before we get started, a few things that I do want to bring up to you guys. Hi everybody.
It's flu season too.
Yes. I got my flu shot today.
Oh, look at you! How did I know this? It's like we're intuitive or something.
I got my flu shot today.
I need to do that.
Hi, Cindy.
I would. Not to make a PSA about it, but it is that time of year. You work with the humans, I work with the animals, and the animals, they there's a little bit of a kennel cough going around.
Oh, really?
Right now on the animal side.
So here in New Orleans, everybody's got a cough, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I just had a couple of clients from the LSU Baton Rouge area that came down, and they're coughing, and almost the entire campus is having that cough as well. It's good to see you too, Cindy.
I was in Lafayette Monday. It was one of my first times I was able to traverse the city without getting a ticket. Oh. So the Lafayette cops hate me. I feel like I'm making progress as an individual. But there were numerous dogs just coughing all over the place. And it was so sad because it just racks their little dog bodies. Mm-hmm. And yeah, they were waiting out in cars. And so, I mean, when we get hit, we all get hit.
Yeah, so I know we have our people who love the Hey Gwen, and Trini's watching too, and I know you're on your way in, so you can listen to us. Good. So actually, Trini, you're in one of the stories tonight. Trini's going to be in one of the stories for tonight. So we're going to talk about duality, and we're going to talk about travel and time and place, and we're going to talk about a few things that have happened here in New Orleans, and I'm kind of waiting till around the 8 o'clock time frame before I really get started deep into the conversation, because that is the actual time. But because Magni's not around, me and Alicia want to get started a little early. So in case you had any trouble getting the live set up, and it went kind of smooth tonight.
I think we're both blonde at heart, but we are finally getting the hang of it. While we have some time, maybe just to mention some prayers for Florida, and
yes.
To all of us, just to keep Florida in our prayers tonight, and everyone to say some special thoughts and intentions for everyone there.
Yeah, my sister, my brother-in-law, and my cousin all live around the Tampa area, and my nephew, and his new his girlfriend, who is about to have their first baby.
Oh, that's exciting.
So yeah, well.
Not in this weather. No.
She's newly diagnosed. So
okay.
So she's still good. I just hope this doesn't stress her out too bad. So, and I got a new great. I don't know if it's gonna be a great niece or great nephew yet, but I have a new
someone to spoil.
Someone else to spoil.
Yes.
New family member into the family. So anyway, I do have some things I can mention. So this Friday at the Battlefield Bar in, actually it's going to be in Gabby's, which is right next door, but it is the Liv's Battlefield Bar in Chalmette. We're doing the ghost hunt and class. So if you come on out to Liv's Battlefield Bar, it is a $20 entrance fee, but we're teaching you some ghost hunting stuff. So Dina Lally and Misty Gaither and myself will be there. And we're going to be teaching you a lot about ghost hunting. And then we're going to do a little ghost hunt there in the bar, because some things have happened in that bar.
There's a lot of energy out in Chalmette.
There is. Yes.
We've seen that.
No, we've taken you out there before.
You have taken me out there before. I don't like that little highway area, but I did like the battlefield. I find battlefields for some reason, whenever I'm out reading energy, I find them very peaceful, which is weird, probably.
Well, the Battlefield Bar is like right across the street from that battlefield.
Yeah.
So
I was in Vicksburg a couple weeks ago, and I always like to go to the national park there, which was a battlefield and a cemetery, and I always catch some really interesting pictures whenever I'm there, but it's just very peaceful. I sleep really well in that city for some reason.
Cool. Well, this Friday night, it's going to be at the bar. Everybody's going to be having fun. We encourage you if you want to dress up for Halloween. It's like a pre-Halloween party. It's going to be a lot of fun. I know Dina and Misty and I are all going to be having a mini class. I'm going to be teaching a lot on different types of ghost hunting equipment. One of my students is bringing all of her ghost hunting equipment, so we're going to be teaching a lot on that. I think Dina Lally is going to work with the pendulums and teach that. We're going to also teach some different styles and techniques. We're going to also teach some dowsing. So it's going to be a few classes, but while you're having class, you can be having cocktails. It's cocktails in class. So that sounds like a lot of fun.
Always makes school and learning better. Yes.
So come on out and join us at the battlefield. It's going to start around 6:30, 7-ish. So get on out there. We're probably doing something classes till around 7. So get there between like 6:30 and 7, and we'll start the classes. And after the classes, we're going to be using all the equipment in the bar that we're in, because some things have happened. We're going to see what we pick up, and we're going to take some information down and see what we come up with, because there's definitely some incidents that happened there in the bar. So it's going to be
we're
quite
in that
fun.
spooky time of year. Too.
Yes, where the veil's getting thinner.
Yes, it is.
So come on out and join us at Liv's Battlefield Bar this Friday night. Come around 6:30 to 7 p.m. Like I said, I did cancel the Aura class for Saturday because I only have like 2 people that had signed up. I am canceling. I'm going to move it probably later on. I'm moving a lot of my classes to after December because of a big project that I've taken on at work, and it's been keeping me quite busy. Pretty much Monday through Friday. I've been working 5 days a week at the hospital, and but after December the 1st. The project should be up off the ground and working itself, so I won't be working as much. So then I will go back and re-offer a lot of the classes. I am going to probably move the numerology class as well to after the 1st of the year. I will have some more classes before then, and the grief group will still meet once a month on Saturday, either Saturday or Sunday, or we might have it one night during the week. And the podcast will still be every Wednesday. So that will continue. But the other classes, I'm going to probably back off a little bit till after that time because of the project that I got handed and I'm taking over.
That's always fun, isn't it?
Oh, I actually like it.
Okay,
I actually like it. It's a big project, and it's a lot of work, but I'm totally enjoying it, and it's something new and different, and
does it help streamline?
Yes.
Okay, I'm all about organization.
yes,
so
it's all about
anything
streamlining.
that have you ever seen the show The Home Edit?
No, I don't watch television. I'm too busy.
Okay, yeah, you should check that out because it's about organization, and it just really speaks to my little organizing heart.
Okay.
So I like that one.
Okay.
Yeah. So tap me on the back. Okay.
Pat you on the back. All right, we're almost there in time. So what time is it? It's 7:59.
We may as well start talking
Okay.
about duality.
So let's talk about duality. So what is duality? Well, last week I talked a lot about concurrent life versus past life in time. How time is more like an onion, and it's more like layers versus a line. More, it's not linear. It's not linear. It's not like a chronological line. It's more like an onion and layers, and that it's like a dimension in itself. And that sometimes you can we find that we're finding people who are sometimes slipping in and out. Well, in duality, sometimes there can be 2 of you in the same time frame.
Okay, isn't that called a doppelganger?
Yes.
Okay, and I have always heard that it's bad luck if you see your doppelganger.
Well, I haven't heard no one have seen that, but so let's talk about some things that have happened in time, and then I will take it a little further for you. So one thing that happened to me personally, and we have a few witnesses to this, and Trini's in her car listening, and she's part of the story. So the last mediumship class that I taught it at my home, and I had a pretty good many students, but we were here at my house, and I think we had like maybe 8 or 9 students. It was a pretty big class, and we were in my den, and I was teaching, we were going through the trance section of the course, and I was sitting in trance, demonstrating trance for them. And I was talking about the levels of consciousness and, demonstrating, what's it like to be talking about trance. And we do this thing called overshadowing, where you go down into the trance state, you go down deep, and your energy overshadows you and changes your facial formations. Mm-hmm. So like your face will change and you will change. You can change your facial shape. You can even change the sex of your body through your face. Your energy can change that. And so we were doing that exercise in my den, and Trini was at my store, which is about 7.5 miles from my home. And she was doing a couple of readings there, and I was here in trance. And we had a group to go do that evening. And I knew where the group was located. Excuse me. I should have brought some water with me. But Trini did not know where the group was. So she wanted to know where it was because both of us were running kind of behind, so we weren't going to drive together. She was going to meet me there. So while I was doing this demonstration of trance, at 7.5 miles away, Trini's reading 2 clients, and Trini and the 2 clients heard me talking. So Trini got up and went outside of the room at the center and was like, "Where's Sid?" And they're like, "He's at his house." Like, "No, we just heard him." I said, "No, he's at his house teaching." So she's like, "Oh, okay." So she went back into the room, and the minute she sat down with her clients, they could hear me speaking again.
Yeah, the story always creeps me out.
I know. So basically, in the room, and what's really wild about this room, and just to tell you about this particular room at the center, so this room's our healing room at the center, so a lot of healings take place in this room. And before it was a healing room, like when we first got the center, it was the creepy room. So that was a room where this young guy used to stay, and he had like this big deer head up on the wall, and like he kept guns in there.
Dead animals was by his profile picture.
Right, so it was kind of a creepy room. And when we first got the center, we used to do this prayer thing where it's an angel chain where you send angels to someone's house, and you actually they stay there a week. You like open the door for them, and they come. The angels, you do this prayer, and you set up this altar, and they come in, and you can actually kind of see the energy come into the room, and they do things. Yeah. So we sent the angels in to cleanse the center and bless it when we first opened. And when they went through the center, when Magni was there, he lit the altar, did everything. He opened the door to let him in. But as he opened the door, as the energy came in, it went to that back room back there, and it shut the door.
They were like, "We got some work to do. We're going to be here for a minute."
So Magni went back there, and he goes, "Oh shit." So he opens the door, and they shut it again.
Yeah, they were like, "We are busy."
He was like, "Wow."
Yeah.
He goes, "They got back rooms." And he goes, "They won't go in there." No. So I was like, wow. So like we started saging it and doing all kinds of stuff. We cleansed that room, and we didn't. It wasn't even part of the store in the beginning. So like for a long time we didn't use it. So we constantly cleansed it, saged it. We put powerful, big pieces of sage. Not sage.
Oh, what is it? Santabello.
Well, we use that too. But we also put a lot of selenite in there and tourmaline and big boulders of it in there just to cleanse that room.
That's probably that ball that I have in my house now. Did you put that one in there?
Yeah, it was the
big one.
So we did all kinds of to cleanse that room. And then it became our healing room because we did some really remarkable, some great table tippings in there and a lot of things. In fact, one time in that room, they had I had 2 mediums in there working, and there was a table in there. One of the big tables that we used for table tipping was in there. It's like a dining room table was in there, and they were just doing some trance work, and I was in the other room next to it working on a play. And there's a dead person in the play that we all know that I changed the name of the dead person, of course, but the dead person wanted me to change the name. So the table in the other room, that room, started flying in the room by itself and banging the door. That was witnessed too.
I'm curious about this play.
By itself.
So, but okay.
By itself, it started flying in the room and banging the door, and it kept banging and banging and banging the door until I got up and walked over and said, "What do you want?" And I don't want to use the person's name, but the dead person's name, but the person told me they want me to change. She wanted me to change her name from what it originally was in the book to Stevie. So I had to change her name to Stevie in the play.
Okay.
So I had to change her name.
Well, I'm glad that she gave you the name that she wanted.
But what I'm telling you, this 200-pound table lifted and flew across and kept banging a door.
There's a lot of energy in that room.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, so this room is known for having a lot of powerful energy. So that's why we left it the healing room.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of wild stuff happened in this particular room. I'm just trying to give you the history of the room that all this stuff happens in. And right outside that room is where I had the woman who the coins fell out of her husband's shirt was right outside that room.
Where we have classes.
Yeah, we have classes.
Yeah.
So that whole area, like in that corner back there, is very powerful at the center.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, training, like I said, twice she heard me speak, and I'm over here in trance. Well, that day, after Trini finished her clients, she wanted to go move her car so one of the readers could get out. One of our readers who would have had a hard time getting out. Trini wanted to go move her car, so she wanted to go change first to go to think she was going to move her car so the reader could get out. So she went in a room and shut the door and started to change. Well, the reader was ready to go, so one of my store person, I went to the back to tell Trini that she was going to move the reader's car so the reader didn't have to. So she went back there to the room and the door was open and she didn't see Trini, so she went and just moved the reader's car for her.
Mm-hmm.
And when Trini came out of the room, she's like, "Well, where's the reader?" She says, "Well, I couldn't find you, so I moved the car." She said, "I was in the room." She says, "No, you weren't. I went into the room." She said, "I shut the door. I was changing clothes." She says, "No, the door was open." She says, "No, the door was closed."
So what was...
So somehow there's some kind of void happened in that room.
Okay. Do you think
and
there's a...
Trini went into the void, and that said it must be the same void that my voice was traveling through.
Yeah.
So there was some kind of connection between that room and my home, is what I'm thinking.
Okay, so when you say void, because I've heard the term vortex, are those...
I don't like using the word vortex.
Why?
because too many people get hooked on that.
Okay.
And energetic vortexes are dangerous.
Okay.
So I try not to use that term, because then you get people trying to create these things and they're dangerous because they can kill you.
Are voids good?
Well, if you're not doing them all the time, just then, like this, this is fine because it happened like once, and you're not trying to. She wasn't trying to actively
make it happen,
right?
Okay.
And then you get people out here trying to actively make them happen all the time, and it can be dangerous. We met up in a spectacular vortex that day. Hello, yes, we did.
So that reminds me. So because we're like time travel and vortexes and that type of thing. So
I call it the void.
Say the void. So when you're saying people can get caught up in that and die, like, are you saying people could theoretically travel to another time and then not know how to get back?
So let me tell you. So you get a lot of energy workers that get hooked on this, and this is what I got to warn you about. And because this killed a couple of friends of mine. It just did.
Yeah.
It hurt them. When you play with energy, okay, or you use energy that's not created by you,
mm-hmm.
or you're constantly trying to improve the power of the energy that you have by using EMF things, or you're trying to get so many crystals in one area, you're constantly exposing yourself, trying to amp
mm-hmm.
energy, you can give yourself cancer.
That makes sense, actually, because
I've lost 2 friends that way.
Well, that makes sense, though, just because the cancer is over cellular growth.
Right.
Essentially, if you break it down to that's
it
what
is.
it is. So that would be caused by...
Right. And I have a lot of friends, they love to get together, they have to cause all these energetic vortexes, and it's okay if you're just doing it every now and then. like, a couple times a year, or just naturally happens and you walk into one, like happened with me and Trenny, that's fine. But if you're someone who's doing it like every day, like I know people sit and try it every day to create it during meditation
like getting an
practices.
X-ray.
Right.
It would be like getting an X-ray. Like you do it once a year for like mammograms or
Right.
like that type of thing, but like not.
Right.
Okay.
Somebody's in the ER every month or 2 times a month, and they always doing X-rays and CTs.
But
and
yeah, but the
bad.
professionals, they know to step out, not like step out of the room.
Yeah,
Or
but I mean,
or
but
you wear-
if you're
yeah,
but if you're someone who's going to the ER and they doing it to you that many times, what's the difference? You're getting it.
That's true, but you're aware of it, and there's probably a reason why you're getting that many X-rays too, though. You probably already have a health issue going on if you're subjecting yourself.
I'm a nurse. I got to step back from that question. Let's not talk about that.
No, you know what I mean, though.
Yes, but there's the problem with today's medicine is that a lot of people don't go to their doctor's office; they go to an ER.
Yeah.
For non-emergent things, and so in the ER doctors are going to always do some form of X-ray or some form. So if you're going to the ER 4 times a month, you're getting an X-ray 4 times a month. Okay, or you're getting a CT.
We're not talking about preventative care. We're talking about when you're presenting at a level 10, and this is okay.
Right.
Okay.
So, and so I always tell people, only come to go to an urgent care or something like that unless it's emergent.
I go to the ER when the bone is sticking out.
Yeah,
that's my guideline.
If it's because it's unless it's something you really need X-ray for, like if you have a bad cough, then you need to go to the X-ray. If you need to go get an X-ray because you need a chest X-ray because then you see what's in your lungs. You don't need a CT. You need a chest X-ray. You know what you need. You know what I mean?
I do.
And don't go all the time.
I'm picking up what you're putting down on this one.
Right. Yeah. And again, some people don't misuse it, but some people do. Like some people use the ED like a doctor's office, and they go 3, 4, 5 times a month. Well, your doctor doesn't know who you are. They're not your internal medicine doctor.
Yes.
So they don't know who you are.
Some of them do at that point, though. Unfortunately,
but they rotate so many through. You may go to the same ER, but you might see 4 different doctors the 4 times you rotate through.
That's true. The frequent flyers.
Right. And so by the end of 2 or 3 years, you lighten up the sky when you walk.
They are their own vortex at that point.
Right. So as I tell people, be mindful of how many times you're being X-rayed, and be mindful of that. Be mindful, and let
Yeah.
You should be mindful.
So back to the story that creeps me out.
Yes.
Because I can't. I think what kind of creeps me out about it is you can't control it.
Nope. Because you never know when it's going to happen.
Yes.
Like I was just and again, we find that for us, I find that so got real estate, me and Trenny both work a lot with clients, and I happen to be in a very deep state of consciousness. And Trenny from working all day was in probably altered consciousness a lot too, because she was connected to a lot of people's loved ones. She does it all the time because she works a lot. So she was also at an altered level of consciousness as well.
Yes.
I've seen her driving, just kidding, Trenny.
And also that does drain your energy. We know that. So you are in a weakened state already. You're in an altered state of consciousness. So no wonder
you're working as a medium. You're in a different level of consciousness. And when you're doing trance, you're in a different level of consciousness.
So you're just breezing through voids at that point, or the possibility.
Right, because you're in that you're in that level, you can transcend the things.
Mm-hmm.
So again, depending on and I think that because we're in New Orleans, and I think this happens a lot here, and I think the fact that we're below sea level and there's so much humidity in our air,
and we have a ley line.
Right. So I think all of that kind of helps. The energy here alone helps, with that transitional thing. Just like if you went to Sedona, you're in a big line there. If you're doing a meditation there, you're going to get a lot more out of it than if you were, say, in,
Cincinnati,
Ohio. Right.
Exactly. So back to the lack of control of it. Do you think that it is something that you can control at some point? If you were like, I want to travel
So we're not working like with Scott and some of the people in Arthur Fendley and stuff. There are some they there are some people who do a lot of there are a lot of people.
My friend's watching.
Hey,
hi.
So there's a lot of people. There's a lot of so working with Scott and going to Arthur Finley and working. So you hear a lot of like monks or high people who already have high conscious levels that are able to get themselves down to a place where they can actually disappear.
Okay.
Like right in front of your eyes, so they can vibrate so high.
Okay, this unfortunately, when you say monks, my mind immediately goes to Mortal Kombat because that is I am a child of that era.
So you get into the high spirituality of things, and yes, I mean there are people that can do those.
Okay, so I thank you. It is the Blues for Red or something. It's OPI. We can get into that dark seasonal colors now because we're getting into that fun time of year that we love. But I am very interested in this whole concept of if you can control it, and obviously these monks have mastered it to where they could disappear. And there's photographic evidence they have of people that were possibly time traveling.
Right.
We know that, and we've seen the pictures. I don't think all of them were monks. I think that maybe some of them they did just slip through something.
Well, I mean,
something
if you look at things like you're in seance, I mean, and then, again, it's because of ecto, but there's also things the spirits create deportations, which does not from ecto. I mean, there are things that fall out of nowhere. I mean, I was in the hospital and I had a portation happen to me in the hospital, like right out of nowhere, boom, fall right to my feet. Boom. I mean, I've seen it.
I've seen that in hospitals.
I've had it happen a couple times to me at the hospital. The lady was making me, I could probably find a bracelet in it. Maggie wore his the other day. A woman was making a bracelet. She made us all bracelets at the hospital. She couldn't find, oh, what's the one that has magnet? It comes also in magnet. It's the stone. Hematite.
Okay.
She couldn't find hematite, and she was looking for a piece of hematite for me. And it's like 2:00 in the morning at this hospital, and she's like, "So I'm almost finished your bracelet, but I just can't seem to find hematite anywhere, hematite B."
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "I have no idea where I'm going to find hematite." I said, if I had it, I could finish it for you right now. I said, "Where the heck do you think I'm going to find hematite?" And I opened the door and it was at my feet. I said, "You mean like this?" And I picked it up.
This hematite?
Yeah. She's like, "What?" And I said, "Just found some hematite right here on the floor of the hospital." Yeah. And I brought it over to
hospitals.
Those are finished my bracelet and gave it to me.
Those places. Places like hospitals. I think they do have a higher energy because they have the passage of life through them.
But not just that, but they also have a lot of radiation. We got radiology because that's we used to have a ghost in the hospital I used to where I just left. We used to have a ghost at a certain time. We'd always see him cross the radiology window. He was actually killed while building the hospital. We actually, one of the workers that knew him, it was his uncle, was killed while building the hospital. And at a certain time, you would see him pass right across the radiology window. That's because of all the energy.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm trying to think because I've worked at a lot of hospitals with my previous job. And my friend brings up Oshner, Maine.
Mm-hmm.
There were a couple floors that if I was there late at night, I would feel the energy was just so palpable. And there were a couple times it was really, really weird when they were renovating some of the floors and there was no one there.
That's always when they renovate.
Mm-hmm. That's
stirring the energy up.
Yes. And I would go there. I would go to those floors because, the most of the time I'm fine with that. I'm fine with my spirits. I'm fine with my ghosts. I don't mind it. I would go there to get away from everyone if I just need like a couple quiet moments to catch up on work. Like take me to your renovated floor. I was good.
So that was a story that I experienced. But Misty Gaither and Dina Lally and I have been doing we went on a few calls together. We recently, and I was hoping to wait for them to do this, and I'm going to probably do this talk again Friday night with them, and I'll probably put it on camera again. But it's getting too late, and I haven't been able to talk to them to get any further. But I want to get this out there because I promised everybody that I would talk about this. So I'm going to tell y'all what happened. So we got a call. We went and visited this family. It was a mom and a dad, and it was two little beautiful boys. I think one was like, I might have the ages wrong. I think one was like 3 years old, and one was like maybe 7 months old, or maybe 8 months old. Could have it
Very,
wrong.
very young.
They're very, very young. And these little boys have already been to more than 6 countries because the mom had a very progressive job that was international, and the dad. And I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to give out their identity. But the dad grew. His dad was a diplomat, so he did a lot of traveling growing up. And he also because of growing up that way, he was someone who went to countries like he went to Africa during the AIDS epidemic and helped out, and he did a lot of
gave back.
Right. He did a lot of work himself and stuff. So he had tons of artifacts in his house, tons of cool spiritual artifacts in his house. And so he had lived in the Gentilly area for a while, and some weird stuff started happening. And I am going to say this to Alicia, but I won't tell her to after the podcast is over, but you know this person. I just realized.
Okay, I'm going to be in suspense.
I know, I keep her in suspense.
Okay. You just enjoy that.
Because he worked for somebody that has my name.
Okay, I think I know who you're talking about.
So anyway, he lived in the Gentilly area, and him and his wife were experiencing like things like cracked eggs on the back porch. That would just show up, and then they had like a ghost that would do things at their home, nothing harmful, but just weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then they moved uptown, and he's also a professor too because of his history and all his knowledge and stuff. So he's also a professor. So, and they live uptown now with the two boys. And while they're living uptown, this is where the story gets even crazier. Things start disappearing out of the house, but not things you would think would disappear. Like they're like a glass, like they're drinking glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have like a set, like one will disappear and then it'll come back. And these like not glasses like that you would take in a car with you, like you would
something like that you would have at the dining room table, and then all of a sudden it's missing,
and it would come back. That started the younger 3-year-old started seeing things in the house, and there was a certain area in the house, like a certain line that like actually divided the house that you could actually feel the energy shift as you walked over it. And that's where a lot of stuff would happen in the house. Like things would move, things would happen in the house. They also had one particular ghost that would visit. The guy was also a writer. And in the old house, he always had these 7 male ghosts that would visit him and helped him with his writing. They were inspirational.
Yeah.
Right?
Like his muses.
Right.
Okay.
But since he moved into the new house, they haven't visited. So he was still writing, but it wasn't as fluent as it was at that house. And I'm just laying the groundwork because it gets really wild, okay, as it goes. Then all of a sudden, him and his wife started having injuries. They'd wake up and have an injury that they don't know how they got. And then it would just disappear. But they get ready to go to the ER and it would go away. And so that was kind of freaky. Then articles of clothing started to disappear.
That would piss me off.
But then they come back.
Okay. Are they clean when they come back? Or were they showing signs of wear?
No. They come back hung up like they were never gone.
Okay.
So, and this is where you're going to really know who it is when I say this. He owned this bizarre blue jacket that he would wear a lot, that people knew him by this blue jacket.
Okay.
The blue jacket disappeared. While the blue jacket was gone, because it was gone a few days, he gets a phone call from someone he knows while he's with his wife and says, "Oh, we saw you last night." He goes, "You saw me?" He was with his wife that night. "You saw me?" He goes, "Yeah, we saw you at the Sanger Theater." He's like, "I wasn't at the Sanger. You were wearing your blue jacket." He goes, "Can't find my blue jacket, but I wasn't at the Sanger Theater. It might have been somebody else with a blue jacket, right?" So he goes, "Probably somebody looked like me, but it wasn't me. I was home, I was home with my wife." So I said, "All right." So they hung up, whatever. So he kind of just blew it off, right? A week later, well, in that week, his blue jacket shows back up in his closet. 4 days later, he gets a letter from the Sanger Theater. He opens it up. It's a state ID of him. They found his state ID in the Sanger Theater.
Okay. Well, that's a question. So he's time traveling, or he's going through different vortexes. And
actually, there's two of him in the same life. Imagine that.
Well,
because that would explain the injuries. Because I think it's him, but I think it's two of him. But because I think and his wife too, because she's getting injuries too.
Yeah. So are they getting injuries through the traveling?
We don't know.
Through, like, we
don't know.
Or okay, yeah, because I would be curious, like, if someone was like, "Hey, we saw you at the Sanger Theater, you were drunk as hell, and fell over," and that would explain.
It gets more crazy.
Okay.
So he orders this book from Amazon, and it's a book about, and I don't want to use the name because the name can haunt you, but it's about, I'm gonna call it a genie, but think about the first three letters of that and don't say it. And it's a I don't want to use, it's a Middle Eastern, it's a Middle Eastern character that that's a Middle Eastern thing, and it's something that you're not supposed to mention the name of. But anyway, he orders a book about from Amazon, and Amazon sends him a letter saying that they canceled his order and said they're not sending it to him, but the book arrives.
Okay.
And he's like, "I got the book." They said, "No, you didn't. We never sent it." He's like, "I got the book." He's like, they're like, "No, you didn't. It never left our store."
And he's sending a picture of the book.
And they said, "I don't know who sent it to you. We didn't do it."
Yeah.
It gets freakier. He opens the cover. The book is upside down on the inside.
Of course.
Just like.
Of course.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It gets wilder. So his wife has to go meet a client in India. So the whole family goes to India.
Mm-hmm.
So while they're in India, they decided to visit this monastery. He's holding his 3-year-old's hand, and they walk into the monastery. And the monk calls his son's name out by name, and his son calls the monk's name out by name, like they've been knowing each other for years.
Lifelong friends.
And they go off together, and to the point that before they left, the monk gave the son this beautiful artifact. Like they became best friends.
Yeah. Hey, this is yours. Yeah, right. Like you like this at some point. So was this
a pre-planned thing? No.
No. Do you think that this was part of the son's past life, maybe, because he's so young?
Concurrent, I have no idea.
Okay, because that's what my intuition is maybe telling me, that this was he's being reunited with someone.
Yeah, the 3-year-old and the monk knew each other like.
Now I've heard, and it's interesting that you say the country of India, because I have heard a lot of stories come out of India where there have been a lot of studies done specifically in that country on past life experiences.
India is a purple country.
Yes. And they believe heavily in reincarnation. And a lot of there have been many studies done on a lot of children there that have past life memories. So it's very and it's a very highly populated
Right.
country. So it's possible too that he just was seeing his friend and
Right.
he was like, "Hey, John, I'm back."
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that wild? This has all happened to this one family, so that's why they called like, why is all this happening like within the last couple of years? And they just, and again, so we gave them some things to be safe. We told them how to protect themselves. We gave them some protection. We told them some things to do to change the energy and the ley lines in their home.
Yes.
So we gave them that while we were there. They have beautiful art. Oh, and when I went through his where he writes, you know why he's not writing? He has 7 women.
Yeah, he can't get anything done.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, no, because when he was talking to the men, they were ignoring him because he needs to talk to the women.
Oh, okay.
To help it, because now he has 7 women muses now.
Okay. Well,
I actually named them for him.
Are they the
because I connected to him.
Okay. Are they women he knows, or because isn't it the 9 muses that we have in New Orleans?
No, he has 7 in his. I talked to them all and told them.
They need to come and hang out with me and help me with my writing. I'll take a muse off his hands.
Right. So he has actually some women now who are working with him and helping him with his writing. So sometimes you need to celebrate because he used to smoke cigars with those guys when he would write and stuff. But the guy said, no, now you need to celebrate with the women. Because you have women in this room. This room has a very high power feminine energy in it.
That's neat.
And I said, you need to pay attention to that. So he's moved some of the artifacts around and he's done some things. So yeah, it was really cool. So guys, what do y'all think about that? How many? Ooh, wow, we got 11 people. What do y'all think about that story? So that's pretty wild. A lot of this.
That you told me that story, and it kind of gives me the goosebumps because I can't figure it out because the concept of
you just can't imagine it being 2 of you.
Oh God, no, I don't think anyone. I think one of me is enough. But the concept of duality too, and time and concurrency is such a abstract thing to wrap one's head around. Where there's just so many questions then with this, where they're not aware that this is happening. Clearly,
right.
They're not aware of when they travel and what they're seeing, and it would be interesting. Have you ever thought about putting him in a trance and seeing if he can recollect what?
I would love to do that. When I could get Scott back to New Orleans, I would love to get him there to see what we can get. What we can get him to accomplish.
Multiverse. You said Marvel. You said Marvel always had it spot on.
Yeah, I think Marvel had it spot on. I do believe there's some form of mind. Like I said, I don't think it was trying to hurt him. I just think it was I do think he has something nasty in one area of his house, but I don't think it has nothing to do with what's going on with them. I truly don't think it has anything to do with them.
I ask myself that same question, Lane, all the time.
Right, is where to be. Exactly.
My new favorite question to ask people when I meet them is, what is the creepiest thing about you that I should know?
Right.
And this could be for them.
It really depends.
It depends. It depends which person. And this cub would be like, well, sometimes I get real crazy at the Sanger and I don't even know I'm there.
Right. Like I said, it's happening to him and his wife, and then to have this thing happening with the children, it's, again, as long as, it's as long, first of all, they got so many artifacts in that house that they're well protected. They got so many spiritual artifacts in that home. They are well protected. Like I said, I gave them some things to do. There's that one little area. And you can see where they had added on to the house. It's one of those old uptown houses. You can tell they had added on and it changed it a little bit. And they do need to do some. We gave them some stuff to do, but and we told them just document. Just document. And if they get if anything really questionable happens, call us. We'll come back out and we'll see what we can do. But hopefully.
How do you think? Do you think they access this from their travels, from picking up a certain artifact that maybe allowed that?
I think because of his spirituality and the fact of all the travel he's done.
Yeah.
Look at the stuff that happens to me and Trenny. Me and Trenny have a lot of. I mean, Trinity and I both have had so much happen to us separately and together. I mean, we were doing a gallery and the spirit spoke from behind us out loud. The 120 people heard it.
When I worked at Pirates Alley, I used to get voices
Right.
that would talk to people.
Right.
In
And
the space
120
and other
people heard
there,
the
yeah.
spirit's voice speak.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I mean, we both had apportation. We both had, you know, things come out of nowhere. We both had, and mom was in bright light. Like I was in a room more lit than this. I was in a hospital, right out of nowhere. Boom, right at my feet. Witnessed with another nurse standing right there. So, you know,
Gifts from the other side.
right. You know, I mean, and they're like, you're scared. You know, I mean, you know, those things happen. I still have the acorn. It's in that room where Trinity sleeps.
I'm not going to open that door.
It's a pin.
I do. You are making me feel like I do need to sage.
So no. I tell people all the time, you know, the more spiritual you are, or the more you work with the other side, you will see more and more miracles. You will see more and more things.
I feel like you're more protected too, though, because
Absolutely.
you and I often talk about raising your energy and raising your vibration levels, and I think spirits definitely bring you more positivity.
I need to put my glasses on. I can't read all that.
I saw you had a couple pair. I was going to try one on. Can you have
these are stronger than
okay,
these.
let me see how I look at them.
Do you think someone's presence in a place can bring out those? Oh, absolutely. I mean, I talk to spirits all the time, Lane. So I could be anywhere. I brought in her grandmother a little while ago.
Yeah, you did.
I brought in her grandmother a little while ago.
That was interesting.
Actually.
Yeah.
I was in a heat. I was in
heat.
I was in heat.
You were all kinds of fiery, and you were like, "Wait a second, did your mom's mother die?" And I was like, "Yes." And you said that she's like stepped in front and did like a
Yep. So I mean, it's just learning how to communicate and see, and again, like they will do physical things. Like I was sitting there just I had a one medium here from Australia, Christine Morgan, and we were having a conversation in my den, and we were talking about her brother who had passed, and I had this big old hutch, and all of a sudden you heard this boom on the hutch, and you could tell it was a punch, like somebody took their fist in it, because it wasn't like a creak, it was a punch. Like I couldn't even hit this desk that hard and that loud.
Yeah, I was so I mentioned I was in Vicksburg a couple weeks ago, and I was in an older hotel, and I was hearing several noises in my room and several knocks, and I finally was just like,
yes, Bruce.
No.
I was telling Bruce.
Yeah,
yes.
I followed that. But I was hearing several knocks, several noises, and you know how we are at this point. You just sense.
But Bruce, I need you to text me later.
Yes, Bruce. But you know how when you sense something, you just know. And I was like, oh, someone came back with me from the field today. Like, okay, cool, that's fine. You can hang out, but I need to get some sleep. And turning it off.
The next time, or to see somebody, every house cleansing isn't necessarily going to see something crazy. Sometimes we do. It depends on when I get a good crazy one. When someone calls me and tells me I have a lot of activity, that's when y'all need to go. So I will call you when I do have one that's got a lot of stuff that's happening. Steve Gunther and I were talking about you a few days ago. Oh, well, thank you. I miss Steve, and actually, I'm probably going up there pretty soon. So we're trying to go in November. Actually,
back to this is actually an interesting question, or at least I think it is, that ties into house cleansing, energy, and spirits in the vortex. So I had a very interesting conversation with a gentleman the other evening who believes his home is haunted. And it made me think of you, of course, and the why do you feel that this demon wants you? What are you bringing?
Wait, does he have a demon or
not
is
a
demon?
Haunted? Not a demon, but the house is haunted. And so
first let's get started. Let's be real. Let's start by saying this. every house is haunted.
Yes, every house is haunted.
Because everybody has a dead person, just about. If you don't have a dead person, then you're very young and nobody's died yet.
True.
So,
And probably
so
very
pretty
young.
much everybody has a haunted house. Just some people recognize what's happening and some people don't.
So he's telling me how he had his house cleansed, and it's in the quarter. It's in, when I say the quarter, French Quarter, for all of those who are not from here. We know the quarter is haunted as F.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
there's, and yeah. And so I was kind of like, it's clean now. And I was just like, yeah, that was my reaction. I was like, well,
For how long?
exactly. And I was like, well, you don't understand though, because there's like hauntings all around, spirits all around you. So why do you think that someone's not just gonna like wander back in and like hang out in like the courtyard or whatnot, and then maybe, you know, mosey on down to the next house? And I mean, that's a possibility too when we're dealing with energies.
So what you do when you if I was in the French Quarter, if I lived in the French Quarter, what would I do? If I had one at my house, because I used to live in the Marriott. So what I would do is first, not tell anybody I live there, because that's when all your friends want to come over and destroy your house. But second, what I would do is put up a light barrier around my house. Only the good spirits come. So you want to put a barrier of light around your home, a cocoon of light, so that nothing else can come, nothing evil, nothing negative can cross. So you put in a cocoon of light.
Salt.
Well, no, it's a cocoon of light.
Okay.
You can put some salt if you want, but I would do a cocoon of light, because then that stops anything evil or negative from coming in. And then I wouldn't let anyone negative in my home.
So I would, I lived in the quarter for a little bit. I know it's just, I didn't pick up on,
Yes, Bruce, spirits are everywhere, because everybody has somebody that died.
I didn't pick up, I think, on the negativity so much, because I've been around negative spirits. My friends used to take me to Bobby Mackey's when I lived in Cincinnati, and that's not exactly known as a friendly neighborhood bar.
Right.
So I mean, I'm used to like negative spirits. I think my vibration level or my energy level is probably different. Where I'm like, okay, you're not welcome here. Negative energy, like we're not going to have coffee in the morning together. It's time to move on. And I do.
You have a Bloody Mary or a beer. No,
if you're bringing me a glass of Sauvignon Blanc, we can stay. But I do a lot of salt baths too, and I think that's always if you go to a negative place, that just is a great.
Actually, you know what's really the best? And I used to sell these at the center is charcoal baths.
Yes. I do have some charcoal soap.
Yes, because charcoal
cleanses and purifies.
Yes. So again, it's Halloween month. So on the next few Wednesdays, we're going to talk about. So next week, we're going to talk about. We're going to continue on with out of body experiences. We're going to continue to talk about ghosts and ghost hunting. Because this week, the reason I'm talking a lot about ghosts now is because we're doing ghost hunting Friday night at the Liv's Battlefield Bar. So be sure to come on out to Liv's and take some ghost hunting classes. We got some cool equipment. One of my students has just about every piece of ghost hunting equipment you can get. I think she even has the doll that communicates with kids that have been killed.
No.
Oh yes.
Oh, you like that?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh, we took it down. We did Ember's Steakhouse in the French Quarter. And we got to talk to the little 12-year-old that got killed there. That was killed there a long time ago.
Killed or died?
Well,
of fever.
died young. Yeah.
Okay.
And we got to talk to him and his mama. And
well, sometimes that's nice. Sometimes they just want to talk. We know that.
Yeah. So yes. Why the charcoal to cleanse your body from the bad spirits? Just because charcoal it purifies and it draws out. So it draws out the toxins from your body. And it also draws out any negativity from you. That's why charcoal is good.
It's great.
And there's also a charcoal bomb. I used to use charcoal bath bombs.
I've done that. Charcoal bars too.
So those are really good. Yep. Those are good.
Yes.
And so, we're going to be doing, like I said, some pendulum work. We're going to do some.
Excited about that
class. Some
dowsing.
We're going to be learning how to use all this cool equipment, and then we're going to use it. We're going to teach it, and then we're going to use it. And it's cheap, guys. It's $20. Come on out.
It's
three classes,
and
then it's the bars there to get to drink and and the bar said they will stay open as long as we're there, as long as we can stay as long as we want.
Indulge in New Orleans Halloween.
Yeah, there's no time limit. I'm gonna leave around midnight, y'all. But if y'all want to leave before then, if y'all want to stay till midnight, you can. There's no, there's no time limit.
Oh, the spirits aren't going anywhere anyway.
Right.
So,
And on the 25th, it's a Friday. Trini and I are doing a gallery there, spirit gallery from 6:30 to 8. Then there's a drag show afterwards.
that'll be
Yeah.
fun.
So, yep. So that's going to be a lot of fun too. And we'll be posting that tonight as well. It's all in the beautiful downtown Chalmette.
I like that area. It's pretty cute. They have some good restaurants there too. My favorite meatballs.
Whoa, Rocky and Carlos. Yeah, traffic and Rocky
You
and
did.
Carlos.
You
Oh,
did,
baby.
yes.
Sure did. So let's see. You have any ghost smoke? You have any ghost?
I have a lot of ghost stories.
Which one you have?
So, I
Why
had.
don't you take the floor? Go ahead.
Okay. One of my creepiest ghost stories that I had. So, I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio, and there is this little bar in Wilder, Kentucky called Bobby Mackey's Music World. It makes all like every single like ghost hunting channel, ghost hunting thing, whatever. They actually even do ghost hunts in the basement of this place. There is a sign when you enter this bar that says we are not responsible for any harm that comes to you. We are certified haunted or known to be haunted. But it's a honky tonk bar on the upstairs. Now downstairs, it was a slaughterhouse back in the day. There is, it was run by the mafia for a while. There was a room where they just used to take people in the back and kill them. There was blood stains still on the walls and on the ground there. And then there's a well. And this is where, of course, all the hauntings start because the well leads down to a creek that then goes out to the Ohio River. So back in the day, apparently this woman was seeing this man, ends up getting pregnant by him. Supposedly the story, they chop her head off, they throw it in the well, satanic, sacrifice, all this type of thing. But there's a lot of other characters there. So Alicia gets in an accident. At some point, I had to get a trainer to help me learn how to walk again. And he knew that I was really into ghost hunting and could see spirits and all this type of thing. And learning how to walk again, getting my cadence back, and we all decide one night we're going to go ghost hunting at Bob Mackey's because that's what you do. So we drive the 20 minutes down to Wilder, Kentucky. We pay the extra fee to go down to the basement, and we're looking around and we're hearing noises. And it's a huge basement. It's a very long area. And all of a sudden I get this weird feeling, of course, and I just take off running down this long expanse in this room, and I'm passing multiple rooms that are just empty rooms, or some are filled with chairs or just all kinds of stuff along the way, and I have no idea what I'm running after. I stop in this one room at the end, and I'm just standing there looking, and I feel something, but I have no idea what it is. And my trainer, he comes running up after me, and he's like, "What are you doing? Do you know what was happening?" I said, "No, I just knew I felt something, and I needed to follow it, and I needed to see what it was." And he said, "I was watching you. And when you were standing there, all of a sudden there was a shadow that appeared across the wall from you with a man that was wearing a cowboy hat. And you started running, and he started running, and you were chasing him, and he disappeared into that room."
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's one of my favorite ghost stories.
I got so many. I don't even know I wouldn't even know where to begin on ghost stories. So
you got to think of one for next time, though.
Oh, I got plenty. Plenty. We did we were doing wasn't even a ghost hunt. We were doing an investigation of this home, and we set up cameras. And I remember Magni was there, and we had cameras set up, and you could actually, so you could see orbs will come in, and everybody's like, "Oh, orbs!" But these orbs were doing specific things. They would come out of one area, they would spin, and they would hit the bed. We got it on film, and then they would bounce, and they would hit the bed, and they would bounce, and then they would go out through this void. And we caught it all on film, and it was really creepy, and that was pretty wild. That was wild. And what is it? Another one. And then I said, of course, I tell you about the time we went and did the house where they had the thing with the claws that was watching the family watch TV. You could see the claws. You got the videos of that, the pictures of that. That was pretty wild. And growing up, I used to have the black cloaked shadow that would float out and watch us sleep. And 9 years later, my sister saw the same thing, and we didn't know about it till like 40-something years later.
Yeah.
That we both experienced the same thing. I can show you some pictures of. There's this one town we went to. We had a ghost group, and we did a lot of investigations. We went to this one town, and it's this little. We went to the cemetery, and in the cemetery, there's this little baby's grave, and on the tree, right behind the grave, the baby's head is coming out of the tree, and on the backside of the tree is the baby's ass.
Oh my God! Why?
It's a picture in the center.
Why?
I can actually show you that picture. It's cool. Yeah. We had that picture hanging in the center forever. You can see the tree form the baby's head. I'm
assuming this is a tiny little baby butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see the baby's head coming out of the tree. Baby's head formed out of the tree. And the baby's behind was on the back end of the tree. And the baby's grave was right in front of the tree.
That's kind of cute.
It was.
Yeah.
The tree, the baby like grew up into the tree. It was creepy. It was crazy. That was really, really crazy. That was. I'm gonna probably take a group up there. We're gonna probably go back to that little town. It's right there across the Louisiana-Texas line in Texas.
Okay.
It's a ghost town.
Yeah, yeah. I love. I love little haunted ghost towns.
So that was really, 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 really crazy. So. That was cool. So, yes, I got lots of stories. So, again, guys, I'm going to just plug in a few things. So, Trini and I will be doing some groups on the 25th, 26th. If anybody's interested, you can message me. We're also going to be doing on the 25th at 6:30 to 8 o'clock at Liv's Battlefield. We'll be doing a gallery there. You'll be able to find tickets soon on my website. They'll be posted this weekend. Also, you can message me if you would like to see us together. If you want to see me privately, you can call 504-708-8353. Stacy will hook us up. Do you believe that physical trauma can enhance someone's? Absolutely. Absolutely, because you're going to be more right brain. Unless you have a right brain, well, you want a right brain injury, but as long as you're right, it enhances your right brain. Right brain is where your abilities come from. Also, what I'm going to tell you guys. So don't forget Liv's Battlefield this Friday night. Come drink with us, drink and learn how to ghost hunt. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I think that's about it. So we had fun talking to you guys tonight. We've been on about an hour.
Yeah.
So we've had a lot of fun.
Thanks for hanging out
with us. Thanks for hanging out with us. We will see you again next Wednesday. We love you, and happy trails to you guys. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.